morning that when what happened, unfortunately, the unfortunate situation that happened in Madagascar, our then current chair of the SADC, the chair of the SADC organ on defense and security, has immediately to move in. Subsequently, already, a delegation of eminent seniors of SADC are in Madagascar, led by 2 able women. And this is what we say, that those recommendations must be implemented. They are not there just because they are women. They have the capacity to negotiate those, to lead those negotiations on behalf of SADC and, of course, the African Union. Women participation in peace process does not seek to diminish, and I want to underline this, does not seek to diminish or erase the legacy of men. No, that's not the idea. Rather, complementing their work by making the international peace process more efficient, effective, and long-lasting. On a day like this, we also honor men who have championed women's inclusion and opened the door where we were excluded, and also by playing a significant role in bringing peace in our continent and in the world. Their solidarity reminds us that gender equality is not just a women issue. It's a human issue that benefits all in building just, peaceful, and inclusive society. Director of Ceremonies, as we celebrate the achievement of women, peace and security agenda, it is true that we have also a long way to realize the full implementation of this agenda. Too often, peace deals, particularly those broken by external actors in our continent, have excluded the women as negotiators and mediators, overlooking their perspective and lived experience. This omission has also meant that the specific atrocities endured by women during conflict have not been adequately acknowledged, addressed, or redressed in the post-conflict framework. Without women at the table, peace will remain incomplete. It is in two main places. Political will remain uneven or absent, while many states have adopted commitment. On paper, the implementation lags behind, and women are still excluded. We also face gaps in monitoring, evaluation, and coordination across sectors. Without strong accountability mechanism, the promises of Resolution 1325 risk remaining an inspiration rather than a reality in many parts of the world. Itself continue to evolve. Today's threats are not only armed conflict, but also climate change, cyber insecurity, pandemics, and other emerging risks that destabilize communities and disproportionately affect the women and youth. The Women Peace Agenda must adopt those realities, ensuring that women's voices help shape solutions to both traditional and new security challenges. Those challenges remind us that while we celebrate progress, we must remain vigilant, committed, and innovative in addressing the persistent gaps that hold back the women, peace and security agenda. It's against that background that in Namibia, we have set up the International Women Peace Center that is aimed to keep reminding ourselves our responsibility and also to work closely with similar centers in the region, in the continent, and the world in advancing the Women Peace agenda. Director of Ceremonies, as we mark this 25th anniversary, we must also look forward. Resolution 1325 has laid a foundation, but the task ahead remains urgent. Conflict across Africa and the globe are intensifying, with women and children bearing the greatest burden. In order for this agenda to be carried forward into the next quarter century, young women need to be empowered to continue advancing the Women Peace agenda. Young women empowerment will enforce intergenerational collaboration for a workable and sustainable world peace. Namibia firmly believes that the future of sustainable peace lies in bringing together the wisdom of women and the energy of the youth, alongside men as equal partner in this process. As we mark 25th anniversary of the UN Security Council 1325, let us also not reflect on the progress we made in peacekeeping and post-conflict, but also confronted by ongoing injustice that are persisting in our world today. We must also not forget the women of Western Sahara, with the hope that one day the UN resolution on the referendum in that country will be held. In our region, Southern Africa, we call for peace in Eastern DRC and in Cabo Delgado in Mozambique. And really, we have confidence on the good office of the SADC chair of organ on defense and security for the issue of Madagascar to be peacefully resolved. Director of Ceremonies, in the final analysis, Namibia is proud to host this silver anniversary. But we do not do so for self-congratulations. We do so to the recommitment to recommit ourselves alongside Africa and the global community to fully and equally and meaningful participation, or ensure meaningful participation of women in peace and security. Let us honor the past by strengthening the present, and let us secure the future by investing in our women and youth. May this gathering serve as a beacon of hope, reminding us the lasting peace cannot build without all the voices being heard. The leadership of women and girls work together with men and boys across every level of our society is what we need in order to maintain peace and security in the world, being the prerequisite for sustainable development and to address the challenges our people facing anywhere in the world. It is with delight that I welcome you all to the Republic of Namibia, the land of the brave. In my capacity as the 5th President of the Republic of Namibia. Yes, this is the first time that Namibia is having a female president, and as we know it in Namibia, women do not need to be invited to the table women have just to be given a space in order to play their role in the table for leadership. Allow me, therefore, at the onset to thank the AU Commission for having worked with us in organizing this celebration. Namibia is grateful to the African Union Commission for the partnership and active collaboration in making this historical event possible. Our continental organization has continued to guide Africa towards a future that is just, peaceful, and prosperous. Under the leadership of the African Union's vision towards Agenda 2063, we are reminded that our continent's strength lies in unity, in shared responsibility, and in the pursuit for peace and development that leaves no one behind. That simply means both men and women have to participate in peace process as they participate in the development of our continent. We also thank the SADC Secretariat for joining us. This partnership and support is a clear reflection of the importance that the regional leadership plays in advancing the women peace and security agenda. This is not only through standard setting and regional coordination, but also by ensuring that regional voices remain at the forefront of the global action and, more importantly, implementation. Statements made, documents drawn up, policies developed without implementation is just as good as they do not exist. I also extend our heartfelt welcome to our distinguished former heads of states who join us today. The former President of Liberia, the former President of the Central African Republic, the former President of Ethiopia, and our former Deputy President of South Africa. You are the pioneering women who have broken the barriers, and we should not forget that at any time in our across Africa and the world. And I must really tell you that your presence at this gathering today has added to my aspiration, has given me power, has given me further strength, and is an assurance that I am not alone. You are there to support me throughout, because gender barriers are still there. You can reach, but it will not always be easy. However, with your presence, I'm assured that I'll be able to lead the people of Namibia to prosperity. The popular question I was always getting was, what do I say about Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and whether I know her or not? It was an easy answer for me. Of course, I said, we are born apart, one in Southern Africa, one in West Africa, and we never worked together, except when I was Africa chief negotiator for the Beijing Platform of Action, and at the time, she was in charge of the UNDP African desk. And when we were stranded for the space to do our negotiation, she was always making space available to us. The only thing I can say we have in common, we share a birth date, which is which is the 29th October, the year is not needed for today. Director of Ceremonies, you see where I got all my inspiration. The UN Security Council Resolution 1325 is driven from the Beijing Platform of Action, a document that I also had an honor to serve as the Rapporteur General of that conference, specifically from the critical area of concern, women in conflict. The resolution speaks to the conflict in our region that have positioned women as victims despite the significant role they can play in changing the dynamics of the conflict. Therefore, at the heart of this jubilee, we are reminded why this resolution matters. Our Minister of International Relations and Trade has also elaborated on that, as well as all those who spoke before me. This resolution seeks inclusive and lasting peace within our communities. The African continent has experienced its fair share of conflict. Hence, Africa is taking a leading role in the implementation of the Women, Peace and Security Agenda, demonstrating the continent's commitment to inclusive peace and security. Unfortunately, 25 years later, we mark this anniversary in the context of heightened global tension and a geopolitical order that continue to see women bearing the brunt of some of the most gruesome conflict across the world. Conflict disrupts every layer of human life: families, communities, economies, and the future. It therefore demands resolutions that draw upon the wisdom, perspective, and participation of all members of our society. Namibia's leadership on women, peace, and security agenda did not begin in 2000. The principle of Resolution 1325 resonates deeply with our history and lived experience. Namibian women have long been active agenda of peace, security, and liberation. From the earliest resistance to colonial rule to the liberation struggle that culminated into our independence in 1990, women have stood shoulder to shoulder with men in the pursuit of justice and freedom and on the negotiation table. Personally, and other women in Namibia, the likes of our Dr. Libertina Madila, well-known medical doctor, were part of the SWAPO negotiation team on the implementation of the UN Security Council resolution on independence. Today, we all know that the UN-supervised election in Namibia remain a reference point as one of the successful peace missions in this world. Since they supervised the first elections, we continue strengthening our democracy. And this is what we say, that have women also in the table, then that peace can be sustained. Our national anthem refers to Namibia as the land of the brave, a tribute to the exceptional courage, resilience, and determination of our people in overcoming of countless peers, many of them women who rescued and in many cases gave their lives to freedom of our nation. Let me also state that the participation of women in Namibia's liberation struggle was not incidental. It was organic and intentional. Women voluntarily entered the liberation struggle with a determination to end oppression in Namibia. We took up arms and became soldiers. Women were sent to study and gain necessary skills to lead in Namibia, which they are doing today. And as I've mentioned above, women formed a part of the diplomatic front that negotiated for the independence of Namibia and the United Nations. And we are still ready to play our role in the international peace. And that's why, as we stand, Namibia has put up a woman candidate to contest a position of the President of Interpol, a position that we are glad is supported by SADC. And we have presented to the international community Major General Anna Maria Nainda to be our candidate. From the SWAPO 1969-1970 Consultative Conference has mobilized the women to take their rightful position in the fight against apartheid, racism, and sexism. And this is what is guiding us up to now. Those who remain in Namibia protested, protected the freedom fighters, and endured unfolded hardship. This tale of women in liberation movement is not unique to Namibia, we know, but we have to tell it and to explain that it was not accidental when we led the discussion in the Security Council to discuss women and peace. We know it was not easy. When the move was made, it was said, no, let it go to ECOSOC. That's a social issue. That is a humanitarian issue. But we see the impact now that it's making. Experience is the best teacher. Director of ceremonies, conflict impacts all dimensions of life: economic development, health, migration, and climate resilience. It cannot be one gender that should take a decision, but it must be everybody. Women must therefore be at the decision-making table in shaping peace and security. This conviction is embodied in the 4 pillars of the Women, Peace, and Security agenda. These are, number 1, participation, ensuring that women are equally represented in decision-making process, peace negotiation, mediation, and leadership role. Protection, safeguarding women and girls from conflict-related violence and upholding their human rights in terms of war and peace. Number 3, prevention, addressing the root cause of conflict, promoting inclusive governance, and working to prevent gender-based violence and abuse before they occur. And number 4, relief and recovery, granting that women's needs, priorities, and capacities are fully integrated into the post-conflict reconstruction and recovery efforts. Those pillars remind us that women are not simply victims of war, but agents of peace. Resolution 1325 provides a comprehensive framework that links peace and security to gender equality, ensuring that the voices and experience of the half humanity are not left behind. Importantly, we believe that peace is not only the absence of conflict, but the presence of cooperation as well as respect of human dignity and mutual care across society. The adoption of Resolution 1325 was a transformative milestone, for it was for the first time that issues of women were introduced to the Security Council. Until then, women's security concerns were largely confined to humanitarian sphere. Yes, Namibia, together with many like-minded countries, with immense support from civil society organizations, understood that women are not passive bystanders to conflict, but integral actors in peace and security, hence their participation is essential. It must be underscored here, when women participate, peace agreements are more durable, communities are more resilient, and the devastating consequences of war on society are addressed and more comprehensive. This proves that the promises of Resolution 1325 is not aspirational, it is achievable. Last year, Namibia hosted the Ministerial High-Level Seminar on AU Peace and Security Council, commemorating 20 years of the AU Peace and Security Council by taking stock of women's participation in leadership in peace process in Africa.